This is a massive video filled with tons of research. Please use the timestamps in the description to select whatever information you wish to know about. But it's worth watching the entire story unfold to get the full understanding of the Yakuza recast. I have a theory that Yong Yea was told to imitate Darryl Kurylo's voice by Sega America, and this video will present evidence for my theory, along with evidence that Sega did hire him for his YouTube following and are creating a story around it. Now, a quick disclaimer before we begin: you can skip to the next timestamp if you want to get to the meat and potatoes of this video. But don't come after me for being rude or disrespectful to these actors without listening to this first, because PR and marketing is a dirty, dirty business. Yong Yea is not the right match for Kiryu, but having one bad role does not make him a bad voice actor, especially when he's done impressive voice work before. It makes the people pushing him into an ill-fitting role to simply hijack his following at fault, especially when they are telling him one thing, but fans are saying another. He's caught in the middle and doesn't know who to believe. YouTubers and streamers have every right to take opportunities that are presented to them by these companies. It also helps market their own brands for cross-promotion. I think it's fun when they get rewarded for all the hard efforts they put into building a successful brand like Yong Yea and the other streamers I will talk about in this video. Good on them for creating successful brands video game companies want to work with. Many things I'm about to point out will look like I'm directing criticism directly onto Yong Yea and the other YouTubers I'll be mentioning. Understand this is not my intention. This also means after this video, don't directly harass anyone I mentioned. We are free to discuss marketing and PR tactics and practices, and unfortunately, actors are often intertwined and impossible to separate from these PR and marketing schemes. Delving into the marketing and PR shows the dark truths behind many decisions that are made with recasts, and I do apologize beforehand if this shows any of the content creators I talk about in this video in a bad light. Voice your concerns with the companies, not the individual actors. They are most likely being manipulated and used by these marketers too. Okay, let's get into it. On June 21st of 2023, Yong Yea announced he was the new voice of Kazuma Kiryu in Yakuza Like a Dragon Gaiden and Infinite Wealth. He would later return to voice Kiryu again in the recent Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, cementing the fact that he would now be the new voice of Kiryu going forward, despite all the public fan backlash and controversy surrounding his casting. Why did they recast Kiryu for the spin-off of Gaiden and the sequel Infinite Wealth? The characters that make a comeback in Gaiden are reprised by the same voice actors as Like a Dragon, and it's a continuation of the events of Like a Dragon, so why is there a different voice for the main protagonist and face of the Yakuza franchise? Remember this guy, Ryan Lacina? The one who worked at Square Enix on the recast of Final Fantasy VII Remake and then moved over to Sega in October 2022? Yeah, let's do this again. Yong Yea released a detailed video explaining how he received the audition for Kiryu along with how he perfected the voice. To summarize, he said the email for the audition slipped through the cracks.
They sent me the audition for this project, but here's a fun fact. I almost missed auditioning for Like a Dragon because every once in a while, an email slips through that, I don't know, I just forget to mark as an audition, or that just for some reason, I just don't end up reading and it just falls through the cracks. It happens very infrequently, but when it does happen, it really sucks. And this email happened to be one of those that fell through the cracks. I never saw it.
Keith Aram, the casting and voice director, contacted him directly asking where his audition was, stating there were many characters to cast for and that he had something in mind for him.
They actually had me in mind for this other role that they're like, oh, Yong would be perfect for this. And so they actually hit me up directly a month after that initial batch of auditions was sent through my agent. When they realized that I didn't respond, they're like, hey, we noticed that you did an audition for this. Do you want to audition for this? We have something in mind for you, and we have all these characters that we need to cast. So do you want to send something in? I'm like, oh my God, thank you for letting me know and for the heads up.
He said he was contacted directly due to his smaller role in the Yakuza DLC, which is always possible.
But fortunately, I had worked with PCB Productions before on another project. You may recall that Lost Judgment, which is set in the Yakuza universe, released a DLC called The Kaito Files, and I played the final boss in that game, Yasutaka Shirakawa. And so I'd worked with PCB before.
And it's a nice gesture that even when Keith Aram has access to thousands of other actors and probably had hundreds of other auditions for the roles they needed to fill, he personally called Yong Yea and asked him where his audition was. Yong Yea then stated he worked for days getting Kiryu's voice right and then sent it off. He received notes from Keith Aram telling him to add emotion to the acting for the callback.
And the note that I was given was, lo and behold, try to find more emotional nuances in the script. And I went, thank God for giving me the second chance.
Afterwards, he got the approval from Sega, and he was the new voice of Kiryu. He said he was recording another project at PCB Productions when Keith Aram told him he booked the role as Kiryu. I can only guess what the other project was. So let's break this down. It is absolutely possible that what Yong Yea described happened exactly the way it did. And it is also possible that this was a practice story created to show he was not offered the main role of Kiryu due to his online following. When dealing with marketing and PR, anything is possible, even if it's not the truth. With Ryan Lacina's history of recasting, it would be a probable statement that he was looking for influential people to take the role of Kiryu from Kurylo, just like he had celebrities Tyler Hoechlin and Cody Christian take over the roles of Sephiroth and Cloud from the original actors. Ryan Lacina joined Sega October 22, and then we see Daniel Dae Kim and Danny Trejo both join the roster of Infinite Wealth in November 30th, 2023. Yes, there have been celebrities in the past that have made appearances such as George Takei in Like a Dragon 2020, the likeness of celebrities, and even Japanese celebrities. But there seems to be a stronger push in the Western market now with these new titles wanting more celebrities. There was supposedly a poll released in 2024 asking what celebrities player wanted in the game, but I can't help but think it could have been fake seeing how there are voice actors on the list that are already in the game, but there is a pattern being established. Anywhere Lacina goes, more recast, more celebrities, more YouTubers. When asked about why he wasn't returning for Kiryu, Darryl Kurylo expressed the sentiment that he was glad they got an actor closer to Kiryu's culture. But was that the excuse Sega told Kurylo why he was recast? In the article How to Localize a Game, the Sega America team says, thankfully, the industry, and perhaps more importantly consumers, have changed a lot since those days, and we're now able to be more faithful to the cultural and emotional content of Japanese games than ever, the Sega team said. So did they tell Kurylo they had to go with more authentic casting due to Kiryu being Japanese? Let me check the other characters' voice actors again. Okay. I see. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. But it's because of the union. Yong Yea is a union actor, and most of these actors are also union actors. It's not because of the union. If Aram was looking for authentic casting to replace Kurylo, why did Aram not choose voice actor Alex Lee, who did the ADR for Kiryu in Infinite Wealth, and also voiced Kiryu in the live-action Yakuza, but instead chose Yong Yea, who just happened to have 1.18 million followers? Seeing the other voice actors in the game, we know it's not a truthful argument that the characters have to have authentic casting. That was most likely the excuse Sega America used to replace Kurylo with YouTuber Yong Yea. And we will talk about how Sega America can manipulate localization of Sega Japan later in this video. Yong Yea could have been working hard on this audition because the audition notes might have included instructions to get as close to Kurylo's voice as possible, which is why he was so focused on getting the voice right. He even stated the voice he sent for the audition sounded like Kiryu.
Once I felt comfortable with the voice, I did the audition and did a lot of adjustments over the course of days, and once I felt satisfied, I sent it in. But I remember listening back to it like a couple days later and realizing that I made the grave mistake of focusing too much on the voice and not on the performance and the emotions. The performance felt very flat. The voice sounded like Kiryu.
If we compare this to FF7 Remake, Paul Tinto, the new VA for Kate Sith, said in the audition email that he was giving the voice clip of the original actor and the note to match or stay close as possible to the original actor.
Well, there was a clip in there, and they had said that they were looking to try and match or be very, very close to what had already been created.
Showing projects that have Lacina working on them can include a voice match. Since Gaiden did include the exact same scene Kurylo voiced from Like a Dragon, let's take a look and see how it compares to Yong Yea.
Leave this part to me.
Leave this part to me.
You guys worry about the front line.
You guys worry about the front line.
I'll protect the back.
I'll protect the back.
Even if it costs me my life.
Even if it costs me my life.
If you have a good ear, you'll notice Yong Yea is copying Darryl Kurylo's performance. Why is he doing that? To keep consistency with the original scene in Like a Dragon, so when players play Like a Dragon, Gaiden, and then move to Infinite Wealth, they might not notice that big of a difference and the characters retain some consistency throughout their projects. If consistency is that important, why hire a new actor to have them get close to the original voice and then just copy the same performance of the original actor?
Why get an impression when you've got the real deal? Still alive and kicking and...
I assume that's a joke, but I'm not laughing.
Wouldn't it have been a better idea to just get the original actor to begin with to truly have consistency? With the announcement trailer for Gaiden in September 2022, I wouldn't be surprised if the voice actors were already working on the English localization to prepare for the November 2023 release. And knowing how consistent the ARMs are with their casting, Kurylo might have initially been working on the project until he was fired and replaced with Yong Yea, similar to what we saw with Steve Burton in FF7 Remake. Lacina announced his new position at Sega on October 17, 2022, 1 month after Gaiden was announced. Is that the reason the Gaiden English dub was pushed back by exactly 1 month due to re-recording over what Kurylo was already working on? Maybe. It's also worth to note that in Gaiden, they were lip-syncing with the Japanese performance, while in Like a Dragon 2020 and Infinite Wealth, they used ADR lip-syncing to match the lips of the actor. I wonder how it is now with proper lip-syncing ADR.
You won't come to me. Then I'm coming to you!
This could also be the reason the English dub's release was delayed, because they kept rewriting scenes to match the lip sync, even though the English script was done at the time of release. I won't leave you without more proof of Lacina working on a project that has the new voice actors copy a performance of the original actors, even though it was stated they needed to have new voices for the characters. This move was also used in Crisis Core Reunion. The new actors re-recorded the original Crisis Core and copied the performances of the original cast instead of using the PSP voice files of the original cast like they did in the Japanese version. They did this for consistency with FF7 Remake, even after stating the voice cast change was only for the FF7 Trilogy project.
A human copy?
Copy? A human copy?
Where's Angeal?
Where's Angeal?
I thought he was fighting around here.
I thought he was fighting around here.
It means Angeal has betrayed us as well.
It means Angeal has betrayed us as well.
I know what kind of guy Angeal is, and he'd never do that.
I know what kind of guy Angeal is, and he'd never do that.
Angeal wouldn't betray us. Never!
Angeal wouldn't betray us. Never!
You fell from the sky. You fell from the sky.
Huh?
Scared me.
Huh?
Scared me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
They're like luxury items around here.
They're like luxury items around here.
They only grow here. They only grow here. Although, I planted some outside my house too.
If I were you, I'd sell them.
If I were you, I'd sell them.
There was nothing done differently than what the original cast already did in both the Gaiden scene and Crisis Core Reunion. Why recast just to give the same performance with a voice that's close to the original actor? Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Yong Yea said he was not imitating Kurylo's voice.
I'm not doing an imitation of Darryl Kurylo.
And was more focused on the Japanese actor's portrayal.
I'm drawing more from Kuroda-san's energy and performance.
But Yong Yea's portrayal of Kiryu has the attempted rasp that only Kurylo's performance has. But which one does Yong Yea sound like more?
Leave this part to me.
Leave this part to me.
You guys worry about the front line.
You guys worry about the front line.
I'll protect the back, even if it costs me my life.
I'll protect the back even if it costs me my life.
Brianna White also stated she was not copying the performance of the previous actors.
Is that I didn't try to copy any of the voice actors. You know, I listened to the other voice actors.
But you did your own thing.
Yes.
I think that's important.
Yes.
Because if you're just going to mimic someone else, then they might as well have just brought in that same person. And if they're bringing someone in fresh, then surely they want a fresh take on it, right?
Those soldier people are kind of weird. Those soldier people are kind of weird. Uh-huh. But not scary at all. Uh-huh. But not scary at all.
Crisis Core Reunion shows a different story. There is imitation going on. Because she's addressing it in a PR interview, it shows fans have a suspicion that the voice is being copied. Yong Yea said he was hoping for a callback, and he did get one, but only for Kiryu, and none of the other parts.
God, I hope they at least do a callback or something. And thankfully, they did do a callback. I was called back for Kiryu, and the note that I was given was, lo and behold, try to find more emotional nuances in the script. And I went...
After adding the acting to Kiryu and seemingly getting Kurylo's voice down, the next move would be to get the approval of the voice recast from Sega Japan. Japan wants voice actor consistency, and when the North American team wants to shuffle actors around and replace them with whoever they want for marketing, they try to keep as close to the original voice as possible to get Japan's approval of the recast. To the Japanese speaker's ear, Yong Yea's voice sounded close enough to Kurylo's that it didn't ruin the voice consistency of that character. Non-English speakers might not pick up on the nuances that native speakers can, which is why Close Enough works with marketers when presenting new voice actors to Japan. Sega Japan approved of the recast, and Yong Yea was off to the recording studio. Okay, voice consistency confirmed, and YouTuber with 1.18 million followers secured. The marketing department, very happy. Uh-oh, fans no happy. In the wake of fan backlash, PR began to push Yong Yea to the Yakuza producer Hiroyuki Sakamoto, and most importantly to Takaya Kuroda, the Japanese voice actor for Kiryu, to try and get their approval publicly of Yong Yea voicing Kiryu and frame it as a passing of the torch.
Turn around now, and you can go home in one piece. But if you don't, just remember, going down this path was your choice. Now, if you want to die, step up!
I got chills. Okay, so this...
Bravo. Good.
Thank you so much.
Kuroda-san approves! Yes!
Never forget how much Ryan Lacina loves passing of the torch as a marketing move. Marketing the voice actor with the Japanese producers is a good way to show fans how Japan approves of them, but the Japanese team members are really just there because they were told to do it for PR, and to also have lunch. Why do I know marketing picked him for his YouTube following? Because of promotions like this. The official RGG account promotes Yong Yea as a popular YouTuber, but it goes even further. At the Anime Expo convention, hosted by Sega and RGG, Yong Yea was introduced to the crowd as popular YouTuber.
Voice actor, popular YouTuber, and the new English voice of Kazuma Kiryu in Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, Yong Yea!
Look at Pushtinomics, who casted Yong Yea as Baptiste. No mention of Yong Yea or YouTuber. The focus is on the voice performance, which, in my opinion, is phenomenal. MiHoYo casted him in Honkai, but no mention or promotion of YouTuber with the spotlight on his voice acting. Even when RGG first hired Yong Yea in the Kaido files, they did not introduce him as a YouTuber, but by his name, just like all the other voice actors they announced for the roles, showing he was chosen because of his voice. They only announced him as a YouTuber when it came to Kiryu, the main protagonist of the Yakuza franchise. Yong Yea responded to the fans who were alleging he was picked because of his YouTuber status in a tweet saying, "There will always be a loud minority who will claim I get cast because I am a YouTuber. I earned Kiryu. If they only cared about follower numbers, they'd just cast Mr. Beast for everything. John Eric Bentley, the voice actor who took over the role of Barrett in the recent recast of FF7 Remake, even stated that they do look at follower counts when casting to see how much audience that actor will pull in.
Well, the craziest part is, if you want to work in the business of entertainment, you have to be plugged in and you have to have followers. If you don't have followers, people are like, okay, well, if we know he did a great job at the audition, but if we hire him, how many people are going to watch our show? This guy over here sucked at the audition, but he's got 950,000 followers, so we need to hire him. They'll watch the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so that changes the game. It's no longer about just talent sometimes, or no longer about just getting hired because of your work ethic or because of your personality or because you can do the damn job. It's about getting hired because everybody else is going to now pay attention to whatever that brand is or whatever that it's a trip. It's a different.
This isn't just in the video game industry, this is also in the film industry too. Maya Hawks revealed she knew several smart directors who have been told by producers that they must cast actors with a certain number of Instagram followers in order for a project to move forward. Taking a look at Susie Hunter, whose controversial role as Trish sparked fans to say she was picked due to her YouTuber status, which she claims was not true. But she was the only voice actor highlighted on the project by the company. None of the other voice actors got any recognition on the main channel. Also, they didn't use her acting name to promote her, but her YouTube name. Brianna White was promoted as her Twitch handle Strange Rebel Gaming by the PlayStation's main account instead of her professional acting name. That is the difference between hiring an actor based on YouTube publicity and hiring based on talent. Yong Yea is being marketed in Like a Dragon for his YouTube channel. With the reality of future Sega recasts, maybe we'll see Susie Hunter appear in a Sega-related voice role soon.